Oh my god, have you seen The Last of Us show? Am I right? Hate to be the guy that say I told you so, but hell, did you see my I watched the first episode of video? If not, go check it out and hurry back. It's linked below, I'll wait. Oh, you're back! Hello, my name's Tommy, and I am delighted to welcome you to Podcast Assemble. Now, at the time of writing, 7 episodes of The Last of Us series have been released, and the 8th is pending. To this point, The Last of Us has raised the bar for video game to screen adaptations, proving Watercooler TV, it's back, baby! The show has been breaking all sorts of grounds, including currently being one of the highest rated TV shows ever. The Last of Us follows the lives of those who remain after a post-apocalyptic event, where a mutated parasitic fungus infects and takes over much of the human race. Just don't say zombie. The following chaos leaves the world in ruins, and we are thrust into the lives of Joel and Ellie, a somewhat reluctant father figure, and the Riddler.
Why did the Scarecrow get an award?
I mean traveling companion. The series is an action-adventure thriller based on the game of the same name by Naughty Dog, a game which we at Podcast Assemble love. However, with 2 episodes remaining, fan speculation is rampant as to the inevitable fate of its core characters, and any new detours the show might take. So let's talk. What if Joel dies at the end of Season 1 of The Last of Us? Consider this your spoilers for everything for the season so far, and the first video game. As mentioned, the show is based off the 2013 survival thriller game of the same name, which in itself raised the bar for cinematic storytelling in the medium. The game crafted an engrossing narrative based on truly human and brutally flawed characters. But, of course, you've been and watched I watched the first episode of video, so you're good, you get it. What sets the show apart from not only the video game it's based on, but also similar attempts at recreating video game stories on either the big or small screen.
They're brothers. They're plumbers.
Is its willingness to take calculated risks. For the most part, the show has stuck to the key plot points of the game, detailing Joel and Ellie's struggles as they cross through the now barren, brutal wasteland that once was the United States. However, with game writer Neil Druckmann acting as co-writer and executive producer on the adaptation, there have been a number of opportunities to expand the lore of the game. After all, HBO are all about taking narrative chances.
The Lannisters send their regards.
Taking the odd storytelling liberty has been key to keeping audiences guessing. One example of this is Joel and brother Tommy's relationship. The game starts with the brothers estranged, whereas the show conversely opens with the pair still very much in contact and appearing to be on good terms. Now, this is only a minor tweak, though it adds significantly to Joel's key motivations to leave the somewhat comfort of his life in the Boston quarantine zone. But that's a minor change, I hear you cry. Alright, I'm getting there. The 3rd episode, titled Long Time, is in itself a mini masterpiece, taking a sidestep and diverging from the main story, where we are introduced to Bill and Frank. Nick Offerman plays Bill, a regular doomsday prepper who has survived the outbreak by being the most prepared?
Guns. Lots of guns.
We follow his story of survival in his small hometown, away from the larger cities where people are herded, and he's living somewhat of a lavish lifestyle for an apocalyptic wasteland. Not long after, he meets Frank, played by Murray Bartlett, who's fallen into one of Bill's numerous solitary-saving traps. From here, we're presented with a beautiful story of acceptance, love, and doing everything to keep your life counterparts safe. If you're not sold on this show yet, just go and check out how they managed to hit you right in the feels with a redneck love story. It will change your life. Now, I won't ruin how the story culminates here, but I can tell you it's one of the most compelling pieces of television I think I've ever experienced. And it isn't even in the game. This side quest is actually a totally new story, based on a couple of characters, one of which we never actually see. In the game, Joel and Ellie encounter Bill after becoming ensnared in one of his traps, true to form, and when a swarm of infected approach, Bill helps them escape the attack. Showing this kind of bombastic thinking and willingness to adjust the story could just see Joel meet a sticky end when it comes to the close of the first season. Now, the hero's arc is one we're all familiar with, either by osmosis or having just been on Google for more than 10 minutes.
Is today, tomorrow, New Zealand?
Yes.
Essentially, the hero's arc is a narrative device used in storytelling to depict the transformation of the main character over the course of a story. It typically involves the protagonist starting off as flawed or incomplete in some way, facing challenges and obstacles that force them to confront the things that hold them back from growing as a person. Ultimately, reaching a point of self-realization and enlightenment that enables them to overcome some big final challenge to achieve their goal.
Boy, little bat, you're in my world now.
The hero's arc is a powerful tool for creating compelling, relatable characters and also engaging audiences to feel like they're a part of the journey. In The Last of Us, our hero...
Can't I just stop you right there for a second? When people do this, I don't really know what that means.
is essentially Joel. And let's be frank, he's not your stereotypical hero. He's a survivor of a world where the rules are different, and he's sure had some tough choices to make along the way. Now, Joel's backstory is not what you'd expect from a traditional hero either. He fits more of the modern, morally grey hero we're getting more used to seeing in media. He's a smuggler, he's a survivor, and he's not afraid to get his hands dirty to stay alive. In the same mold as Cassian Andor, or the Mandalorian, or hell, even Jon Snow in Game of Thrones. Joel's unconformity to the tropes of TV of old really set him apart from other heroes. Ned Flanders, he is not.
Hello, neighborino to the north. I sure like the cut of your gibberish.
He's the cynical, emotionally baggaged hero we deserve, not the one we need right now. However, things start to change as he spends more time with the Riddler. I mean Ellie. Their relationship starts off as purely transactional, but as they journey together, things start to shift. Joel's growing affection for Ellie forces him to confront his own emotional baggage and vulnerabilities. He's not just a tough guy after all. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Considering the show's willingness to make narrative changes and explore new directions for the characters, Joel's unconventional character arc could lead to something of a different ending to that of the source material. The events that shape Joel through the series have painted a tragic figure. From the beginning, the significant loss Joel experiences with the outbreak has left him emotionally damaged and closed off to the world around him. This trauma is the driving force behind, well, all of his actions, shaping his motivations and leading him down a path that could ultimately be tragic. As the series progresses, Joel's journey is written with increasing complexity as he navigates a world filled with danger and moral ambiguity. He's forced to make tough decisions and face the consequences of his actions, often at great personal cost. Despite his flaws and his questionable choices, Joel remains a sympathetic character, one who the audience roots for and really cares about. The writing of Joel as a tragic hero is exemplified by his relationship with Ellie. The bond which has been growing between the two has resulted in Ellie seeing Joel as something as a surrogate father figure.
We ride together. We die together. Bad boys for life.
As the story builds towards its climax, we find Joel struggling to recover from a stab wound which he received as he and Ellie believed they were closing in on their final destination. For the protagonist to survive even this and to still go on and end up falling at the close of the show, it would be a serious gut punch and one that would close out his arc as an unconventional hero incredibly. The show's crafted a fresh yet familiar direction for Ellie and Joel's story, one which has been such an emotional roller coaster that it will forever stand out as one of the best, most well-rounded shows of all time, let alone great adaptations. For me, it's right up there with Lord of the Rings. Again, Druckmann and HBO have struck gold with the deliciously grey, morally ambiguous characters we're presented with in The Last of Us. Our protagonist, Joel, has made such a huge impression. Though, like I say, I've played the games. I know how it will probably end. But, based on the world we've been introduced to, we're just taking new paths diverging from the source material and considering Joel is the antithesis of the traditional hero. Wouldn't it be so refreshing if the show were to close out with the man we've been following losing everything for the sake of someone he's grown to love? But what we want to know is, what do you think? Have you been swept up in The Last of Us' brutal world? Do you think the team would be brave enough to kill off Joel at the end of the first season? Let me know what you think in the comments below. We love it when you keep it civil. And while you're there, feel free to drop us a like, share, and subscribe. If you like what you're hearing, check out our website, www.podcastassemble.com, which is linked below, where you can find our regular podcast, Podcast Assemble. Also, there's some other cool stuff in there, like new blog pieces, such as, is the movie Cocaine Bear any good? Why not join us for some more geek content? Thanks for popping by, guys. Tally ho!